Hey, in today's video, I'm talking about key signs for an electrolyte imbalance and what to do to correct it. You see, most people are dealing with electrolyte imbalances throughout the day, and it ends up causing things like irritability, anxiety, blood pressure issues. Maybe the blood pressure goes up, maybe it goes down, and you feel lightheaded. It can also cause confusion. Dizziness is really common with electrolyte deficiencies. On top of that, you can have issues like headaches, for example. You can have digestive issues like constipation, as an example of an electrolyte imbalance in your body. So what are electrolytes? Electrolytes are key minerals that help our body conduct electricity throughout our system. In fact, our nervous system really runs off of electricity. We're like an electrical current. It's constantly going through our body, which allows us to think sharply and quickly, to move our muscles, to do everything that we do. There's literally electrical currents that are running through our body, and this is what we need: good hydration and good electrolytes. The electrolytes help conduct the electricity throughout our body for all the muscle functions, for all nervous system activity in our system. So what are the key electrolytes? They're things like magnesium, sodium, potassium, chloride, as well as calcium. These are all really critical, and our body is constantly using them in and out of the cell, shuttling them in and out of cells, and again, conducting electrical currents throughout our body. When we don't have enough electrolytes, we don't feel our best. We might have changes in our heart rate. We might have a palpitation or extra slow heart rate, right? We might have breathing pattern changes. We might have anxiety. We might have headaches. We might feel irritable, extra irritable, and just easily triggered and angry. We might feel really, really fatigued and lethargic. So electrolytes help keep us feeling very mentally sharp, having great memory, great energy, really being able to do everything that we desire to do at a high level. And so how do we make sure we're getting enough electrolytes? Well, what I found is that most people are not consuming enough of these in their diet on a regular basis, and there's a number of reasons why. First off, we've been told to not consume salt. In our society, we're told salt causes high blood pressure, and for many people, they're told salt actually increases inflammation. And the issue here is that we're told wrong, number one. But number two, it's actually an issue with insulin. You see, insulin is this hormone that comes out to take sugar out of the bloodstream and put it into the cells where it can be used for energy. But when we're constantly eating a high carbohydrate diet or lots of processed foods, what happens is we get elevated levels of insulin. And insulin, not only does it get sugar out of the bloodstream and put it into the cells, but insulin also helps us retain sodium in our bloodstream. When we retain sodium, we also retain water, and that can drive up overall blood pressure. Now, the key to stabilizing and managing blood pressure is actually to lower the amount of processed carbohydrates and create more insulin sensitivity. So we want to make sure that our body has really good stable blood sugar levels and stable insulin levels, and that's going to allow us to have lower insulin and allow our body to not retain water and sodium. And therefore, we actually need more sodium in our diet. Most people are not consuming enough sodium. The best electrolyte drinks out there actually are higher in sodium. In fact, for example, Gatorade, which is the most well-known electrolyte formula, although it's not healthy, actually the best component of Gatorade is the water and the salt that are in it. And when people get benefits from Gatorade, it's actually the water and the salt. It's not the artificial flavorings, all the sugars, things like that. That's all toxic for the body, but it's the water and the salt that makes the difference because we're losing that water and losing that salt. Now, another big thing is when you're fasting, if you're doing intermittent fasting, or if you're on a low-carb diet, your insulin is going down. So your body's going to excrete more sodium. So you want to make sure you're replacing that. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they are doing intermittent fasting, or if they are on a low carbohydrate diet, is they're not salting their foods well, right? You want to salt to a desired taste, or consume trace mineral rich foods, or you can just take a little bit of salt on your finger and put it on your tongue and drink some water. In fact, that's one of the best things you can do for energy throughout the day. Just take a little bit, ideally of a good quality sea salt, put it on your tongue, drink good high quality filtered water, reverse osmosis or distilled water. Drink that, and that will immediately increase your energy because you're getting sodium, you're getting a lot of these key trace minerals into your system and correcting the electrolyte imbalance. Now, what are the best foods to consume to make sure we're keeping our electrolytes balanced. They're gonna be our trace mineral rich foods. What are those? They're gonna be your grass-fed, organic animal products, wild-caught fish, wild-caught seafood in general, very trace mineral rich. Things like olives, actually, olives, in a natural olive brine are very trace mineral rich. Pickles, all of our different fruits and vegetables. Fruit is rich in potassium, vitamin C, as well as structured water that helps hydrate our body. Particularly when I'm thinking of fruit, I'm thinking of things like melons, I'm thinking of pomegranates, I'm thinking of berries and oranges, different types of citrus fruits, apples, all rich in structured water. Bananas, less so, right? But they do have some potassium, which can be beneficial if you need some potassium. But fruit, vegetables, fresh vegetables can be great sources of trace minerals. Sea vegetables are a really good source. Celery, cucumbers, really good source of silica, different trace minerals that are in there, magnesium, as well as the structured water that gets deep into our system and hydrates our body. So make sure we're consuming a lot of those types of foods on a regular basis. And then again, make sure between meals, like if you're doing intermittent fasting, you just take a tiny bit of salt, put it on your tongue and drink some water. Or you can put a little pinch of salt in your water and drink that, and that will help to provide electrolyte balance. Now, there are other things you can do as well. I actually personally, my family and I, we love using the Element electrolytes, a little packet of Element. We put that in our water, right? And it's got the right ratio of sodium, potassium, and magnesium for optimal energy levels. And so we'll use that pre-workout, or if my kids are doing any sort of sporting activities, they play basketball and soccer. And so we're making sure they've got enough electrolytes, enough really good quality water on board to make sure they're able to perform at their peak. Most people, again, they're losing electrolytes on a regular basis. There's a lot of different medications that cause us to lose electrolytes. That's going to be things like, for example, steroid medications, antibiotics, birth control pills cause us to be electrolyte deficient. Cholesterol lowering medications will deplete certain things like magnesium, for example. Chemotherapy drugs, if you're taking those, they'll deplete them. Diuretics or any type of blood pressure medication is going to deplete sodium. It's going to deplete different electrolytes. So if you're taking any of these types of medications, always good to talk with your doctor about what you can do to help replace electrolytes and help support your overall blood pressure balance, right? And your electrolyte balance. So making sure you're doing this on a regular basis is really key. Eat trace mineral rich foods. Make sure that you're using a good quality salt. I recommend like a good quality sea salt, something like a Redmond's real salt, which is my favorite type of salt, or Himalayan sea salt can be really, really good. And make sure you're salting your foods well. Okay, and you can also use an electrolyte powder, or you can make your own home electrolyte drink, right? And it's really actually pretty easy. You can just take basically about a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of Epsom salt, take about 32 ounces of water, right? So you make sure you got enough good, clean water. Take 3 tablespoons of lemon juice and put that in there and flavor it up with stevia and put a little bit of salt. Put about a half a teaspoon of Himalayan salt, put some stevia in there and flavor that up, and it will taste good, right? And you don't even need the stevia. You can do it unflavored, of course, but that will help it to taste better and be a little bit more palatable. And this is a homemade electrolyte drink that a lot of people will use. Simple and easy. You can also do things like taking coconut water, right? And take coconut water and then just add a little bit of salt, like a half a teaspoon of salt to, let's say, 16 ounces of coconut water, and that will provide the potassium. There's magnesium in the coconut water, and you're adding a little bit of salt in there, and that will provide the key sodium that you need as well, right? So that's another great strategy for helping support electrolyte balance in your body. So if you're noticing that you're having heart palpitations, anxiety, irritability, you're feeling fatigued and lethargic, be sure to support electrolyte balance in your body. Check your diet. If you're eating a lot of ultra-processed foods, that could actually be draining electrolytes. In fact, when you're eating ultra-processed foods, one of the things that happens is it causes a stress response in your body. And in order to detoxify those things, your body will shunt water and electrolytes to try to flush it out of the system. And so that stress response will actually cause you to deplete more of these electrolytes. And so really, really key that if you're eating those, you're also supporting it with good quality real foods. And in general, eating a real food, trace mineral rich diet is really the key to having great electrolyte balance. And also, if you're dehydrated throughout the day, anytime you're dehydrated, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and epinephrine. And when that happens, one of the things that takes place is not only do you elevate blood sugar, but also on top of that, your body will actually start to deplete your electrolytes. And so making sure the more stress you're under, the more important it is to help stabilize and balance the electrolytes. So taking a little bit of salt, it acts almost like a natural way to reduce stress hormone, right? So it helps to bring calm and peace to your body by providing that electrolyte balance. So be sure to try that out today. All of us are dealing with dehydration and electrolyte imbalances from time to time throughout the day. So just having in a sense, almost like a checkpoint throughout the day to say, hey, am I making sure I'm hydrating enough? Am I making sure that I'm getting enough salt, sodium, and enough overall electrolytes in my diet and in my lifestyle to support great energy? That's something that you want to be doing. And again, it's as simple as just taking a little tiny bit of salt. You can put it on your tongue or you can put it in water, drinking that throughout the day. You can, of course, take magnesium supplements. You can take potassium if you need that. You can take electrolyte support supplements like Element, for example, that can be really helpful. All of these things can be really supportive. So find a strategy that works best for you to support your overall hydration and electrolyte levels, and you'll be real thankful.